Hi guys, we're in Berlin and we're gonna visit Myburgh microphones and talk to Andrew about his beautiful creation. Like, that's fun.
Hi, I'm Ulf at HoboRec, and more or less a year ago, I was here in Berlin at in this beautiful sofa, and I filmed an interview with this beautiful guy, and I lost all the content, so now I'm back just for this.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Myburgh Audio makes these top-of-the-line microphones, and I'm gonna let you introduce it first a little bit, because this is the
flagship. Yeah.
the flagship, yeah.
This is our M1 microphone. We relaunched it, not relaunched it, we launched it 2020. The microphone is designed by Andreas Grosser and Eckhard Dux, which is a Berlin team of tube microphone specialists, I would say. Andreas, as we know, passed away now a few years ago. Andreas worked on this mic and the M28, which is soon to actually hit the streets. This is the tube mic. So the M1 is based around an M7 capsule and a Russian new old stock tube, military grade tube. We basically wanted to design a mic that was super low noise floor for modern recording situations, being digital most of the time these days. If you're fortunate to be recording on analog, it still sounds great. Basically, the mic is a based on vintage. In a way, it's based on vintage microphones, but is its own design completely. The main features of the microphone is obviously the way it sounds is first and foremost the important part. It has an extremely linear preamplification stage internally. And it just sounds really upfront and present. Let's put it that way. But other features it's other than the noise floor is that it's always manages to handle SPL really well, which is not common for tube mics. Yeah. Something normally starts distorting or breaking up at a point. And other than that, it has a feature of pure cardioid.
Yeah.
And variable polar patterns. Just to explain it, the power supply has a knob on the power supplier that, when engaged, it bypasses the entire polarity section, the variable polarity section, switches off the rear membrane of the capsule, and gives you pure cardioid. I think now there are one or two other companies doing it as well, but traditionally you would have a pure cardioid or a variable. They weren't in one mic. The difference being between this and other tube mics is, for my opinion, is really the frequency response. You obviously need to hear that yourself in your own space.
I've only heard it on the show floor at NAMM, and I mean, even there I could tell it was something extra.
Yeah, and it is. It also, I remember someone coming by and saying, also on the floor, how it handles EQ. It's a microphone that you can really get stuck in with EQ, and it doesn't get harsh. It doesn't sound like it's altering the sound of the microphone. It's quite an amazing thing to experience if you have one. I know friends and colleagues and users rave about the fact that of the frequency response and how it handles its EQ.
Can I just backpedal to what you said about it handling high SPLs?
Yeah.
Because that's not only uncommon for maybe tube mics, but also for mics with really low noise floor, right? If you have low noise floor, that means you have pretty high output.
Yeah, it is hotter. Yeah. Sure. It does have a higher output. Yeah, I suppose it would. Yeah.
So for me, it seems like a hard thing to achieve, and makes it also super versatile.
Yeah, it does make it super versatile. The nice thing about it is, because it also has that higher output, you can really stick it up in front of a soft instrument as well, and capture it without any noise floor. So you aren't gaining up that much more than you would normally gain for a louder instrument, because it has a higher output, basically. Yeah.
Does the true cardioid stuff compared to variable polar pattern, does that affect the proximity effect and stuff, or
It does a little bit. Yeah, it does a little bit. It also has a, which we haven't not too sure about the measurements, but to my ears, it sounds like there's also something that happens in the mids, in the upper mids, that pushes out a little bit more, as opposed to the other one, which seems to be a bit flatter. But that could just be a perceived thing.
Yeah.
I haven't measured that actually in terms of.
I mean, the build quality of these are like the craziest thing I've ever.
Yeah. So
held in my
at the moment, it's even the body tube is machined out of a big piece of brass, and not out of a aluminium kind of. They're all machined out of tubes, and I'm saying like it's a thick piece of thing, because we have to get it to the right size for inside and outside. We can't just buy that off the shelf.
All right.
And we're actually now trying to get the weight down a little bit. So we've already started with this part, as there's some aluminium in there that is making it a little bit lighter, because at the beginning it was really, really heavy, which is great for certain things, but not so cool for other applications. You know?
That makes
if you don't have the best stand in the world, for example, you will have a problem putting the mic up. And now it's a little bit better, but the next batch of mics is going to be a little bit lighter. So it's still not light. It's like a U47.
I think it was the first time I met you in LA at our. We have a friend in common called Manny.
Yeah.
We were at his studios, and we actually tried running it on the microphone robot I built.
Ah, yeah. Did you get it to work? I can't remember.
It worked, but it was it was a little bit too heavy.
Yeah.
So as I said, you're. So how long have you had the company now?
Well, we started development in 2017, I think, towards the end.
Yeah.
Then we had an issue. We were meant to launch actually in 2019, but we had an issue with the trademark on the old name.
Yeah.
So we had to change the name, which has kind of worked out better as my surname aneway. It's been a little.
What was the original?
Just Berg, but there was there is actually a smart watch manufacturer from China that has the trademark worldwide for microphones, even though they don't make these types of microphones. It's just for the microphone within there. So they don't see it, that there was no distinction between the two for the trademark. However that works. But it ended up working out better. It just took a little bit longer to get onto the market because of that.
So I know, this is the flagship and the first model you released, and now you have one more microphone.
The M28 was also seems to be a ongoing theme in this business. Things take a bit longer than expected.
White one? Or?
Yeah, it's like a beigey, creamy color. That's a FET mic in the same body, just it's a little bit shorter. It's not the first of all, it's not a FET version of this, like the 47 tube and FET. It's its own thing, its own circuit design. It's also based on a CK12 capsule, and not the M7 capsule, which already makes it sound quite different. And like I was mentioning to you earlier, it has this kind of FET that sounds tube-like. It's quite an interesting design. We had a bit of a setback with that one. As you mentioned, the quality of the build, it was always a bit difficult for me to put normal little slider switches and the usual parts that people toggle switches and stuff like that. First of all, for me, they look really ugly on the microphone. And especially the toggle switch sticking out.
Those.
I really decide, and they break. The longevity of them is not that great. And for servicing, again, you have to pull the whole mic apart to get to a switch. So we had a company discontinue a switch that we found that was a slider switch, but that was really high quality. And then they discontinued it. So we had to then spend 6 months searching for basically a new solution for that. And the solution is two basically gray hill switches that are firing up proper front panel switches. That are stepped switches, which obviously is a lot more expensive than a slider switch, but it has really fixed the problem, and it feels great. So
Nice.
you have two little balls, two little like rolling switch, I would
cool.
say. That's kind of looks similar to the thumb ring at the bottom. Yeah.
You basically painted yourself into a corner with having such high grade everything.
Yeah, it's always, you know,
Just have to upkeep the...
yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So a lot of the microphone companies are I try not speak badly about people, but the reality is that most of them is just rebranded Chinese bodies, and you can see them.
Yeah.
The mics look the same, they sound the same. They've just got a brand X or brand A. We wanted to stay away from that. There's nothing wrong. There's a lot of Chinese microphones and parts that are like really good.
Yeah.
So it's not about that. We just wanted to do things differently and keep it as unique as possible, not only sounding but also looking.
Yeah, as I said, I think most even cheaper microphones are decent quality these days compared to what it was
they
like
used to
20
be.
years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, sure.
But I think also that market is super saturated.
It is saturated.
And what you're doing now, I'm not sure. Do you have a lot of competition?
Well, we do have we have competition. The vintage mics are competition. And then the bigger brands, you know, that have the mics that are often double as big as the price of the M1, you know. So we do have competition. I just think it's such a niche thing, so people are looking for something that's different. And I think it's just, if they're going to spend that much money, there's not that much to choose from that is really available. You know, you have a handful of brands.
And if you want something that is with modern standards and that are actually serviceable now,
exactly,
have someone
exactly.
service it.
Exactly. So the thing is, a lot of the guys that are buying them, instead of buying an old 47, they will come, first of all, because the price is just, they've got ridiculous, which is understandable. They become collector's items. But more the fact that it's the servicing and the parts, the tube you can't get anymore. And there are some guys doing some really cool replacement tubes now. I've seen, but yeah, like there's also I think there were only like 5,000 47s ever made. So I don't know how many tubes people would also be able to, like, you know, there's not that many mics.
Actually, no, that's true.
Yeah, unless, maybe also for the DIY market. But nevertheless, there's some guys making really cool replacement tubes for them. But most of the guys that have a 47 want to have it as original as possible, which is going to be. So yeah, we're fortunate in that respect. And yeah, most of the people that buy it for the way it sounds, and not only just the build quality.
Where exactly are we now? Like in south?
We're central southish of Berlin. It's the suburb's called Steglitz.
Yeah.
And we've been here now, I think, for 3 years at this location.
Yeah.
Before we were in the basement of my house, like most little companies like this. We have a room where Claudia basically builds the microphones in, where everything's kept. We have a listening room at the back where we do the final tests and the checks and all the rest. Everything. Well, I can tell you. So in terms of how everything gets done, we work very closely with the company that makes our bodies for us. They basically do this body, and we'll be doing the M28 and any future mics that we will release. The rest of the stuff is all done by us. We do everything in-house, build it, assemble it, and even the boards are done here. We're not outsourcing to companies to just get boards sent in. Everything's pretty much soldered and assembled in-house.
So it's only you and Claudia that work. Claudia.
There's two of us that basically Claudia does that, and we with the M28, it'll be a little bit less assembly intensive for that microphone, and then as you said, mentioning new ranges, we are obviously working on other products, and we trying to do them. Well, they will also be built here. For the two main mics, we've been sourcing. Everything comes from either from Germany or from within the EU. For the other mics, because of the price point, we will be doing probably some parts from outside the EU. But I'm hoping to do all the metal work and stuff
Yeah.
still with the same guys, because we wanted to have the same feel and look, and
So
have it ours, you know.
yeah, make sure you can kill someone with it.
You can, yeah, make sure you do that.
Okay, so thanks so much for having us, and thank you guys for watching. And if you're curious about stuff, please leave comments. I'll make sure to
And follow us on Instagram.
absolutely do so. Myburgh Audio or Myburgh,
However you please, really kind of.
but on Instagram.
Instagram is Myburgh Audio.
Yeah, I will link it. Yeah, take care. Cheers. See you next time.